Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Mongoose with XFDA, and I'm sitting here with Master Gunfighter. And there's a lot of stuff I'm curious about, and I wanted to talk to you about it because you've been doing this for so long. Your family was in it too, so tell me a little bit about your family and how you got started.
I've been shooting personally, professionally for over 50 years, and that's not easy to say. I started when I was 14 years old. My father started first and he loved it, and he shot for a year professionally before the family got into it. And most of the shoots were on Sundays, so we didn't have to go to church if we went to the shoot. And I saw a girl one day named Linda Rankin, I believe her name was. And I'd never fanned a shot before. I was doing all just thumbing like we do in extreme fast draw. So I watched her get out there and go, bam, and just fan the shot. And I thought, if she can do that, I can do that. So I ran over, I remember vividly, I ran to the car, pulled out the extra holster, and started practicing fanning. And my dad saw it, and I saw a twinkle in his eye. 2 weeks later, myself, my mother, and my sister, who had never shot a match before, shot one of Bob Munden's matches. And it worked out very well because he had classified elimination. So whatever level you were at, that's where you shot. And from there, it just escalated. Eventually, my youngest sister shot, and we all became champions. I've been fortunate enough to win the World Championships with both of my sisters different years. I won the Nationals with my mother. I mean, as a family, we pretty well dominated the sport. And then the girls got married and went off and started having children and stuff. And my dad and I stayed with it for a long time. And he shot pretty well as long as he could until he started getting dementia and things like that, and just couldn't do it anymore. And he quit, but I've been shooting this whole time.
Now, you started out, it was fanning back then when you started. Is that right, or did they thumb it?
In the old WFDA, World's Fast Draw Association, that my father helped to form, because at that time there was two. There was a Midwestern and a Western Fast Draw. And he got together with all the presidents and those people and put this together and formed the World's Fast Draw Association. So he was the first chairman, and we had 4 different styles. Right now, everybody's doing only one thing, just thumbing that gun. But in WFDA, we had fanning, we had thumbing, we had what they call slap cocking, where you cock the gun in the holster with your left hand, draw the gun out and fire it. And then we had extreme speed shooting called twisting, where with a specially designed holster, you get on top of that gun and you squeeze the hammer or the trigger and gun and turn it sideways and fan it, because sideways levels quicker than dragging the gun up and out of the plate. So I learned fanning and I learned slap cocking because they were the most efficient. And I've won world titles with both styles before.
Really?
I honestly, and I don't want this to sound bad, but I don't even know how many world titles I've won. I've been shooting 50 years. I've lost track over that much time.
Well, we've had a chance to go through and see a lot of the trophies and buckles that you've seen here, and you've got a room full of actually really neat stuff.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, there's only 2 trophies in here. When you have that, when we moved out of the house, when I moved out of the house, my parents said, you're taking all your trophies with you. I donated 210 trophies to the Special Olympics, and they would rehab them and then give them to all the Paralympic people.
Really?
And I felt real good about that. I don't even keep trophies anymore. Nowadays, most of the times the awards are based around buckles, and I don't even know how many I've got. I could probably cover half that pool table.
Yeah, easily.
But after 50 years, you better be good at something,
Well, that's one of the reasons why we came over to see you, is because you are good at that. You have I think you said you're efficient. So explain that a little bit in your draw. Is that that's really what you're driving for, to be efficient in your draw?
Even if we go to, right now we're only shooting thumbing, but any of the 4 styles, there's only one perfect way to do it. Point A, point B, straight line. That's it. Anything else is a variation. So whatever style I'm shooting, I try to make it as efficient as possible. The less you move, the less you have to move, and the faster it goes. So if you get into awkward stances, and some people stand on a tippy toe, some people throw their body into it, some people lean way back. None of that is effective. The more comfortable you can stand, the longer and easier you can control that, the less you move, the better it is. So my whole draw is basically just squeeze, and that's it. Nothing else moves. I tend to want to move my holster out of the way while I'm drawing the gun instead of drawing the gun clean out of the holster and spending too much time.
Right.
So it's basically efficient.
Well, it definitely is. Even with the trap, with the little bit that we've learned here, you can see the difference between coming back and just bringing it up.
And
like you
seeing
said,
it's
moving a
one thing,
holster.
but I think between the two of you, there was a point with each of you where I'd see a little light go on there and go, damn, that's how that works. And from that point on, it just became easier for you. This isn't going to happen overnight, otherwise I'd be charging a whole lot of money to do this. If I just give you here, you're instant fast forever and ever, one day we're good.
Oh yeah, and people would pay all that money to
Yeah,
do
some
that.
might, hopefully some might. Y'all were very, very good students, and I say that honestly from my heart. If I didn't think so, I wouldn't just say anything. I said, yeah, you guys did good. You learned the best you could. Now, at one point, you will be able to teach these theories, and you have an entire club of people that I think will benefit from this.
There's also a reaction time,
Yes, sir.
draw time, and then the combination of the two.
Any draw, whether you're shooting tactical or any type of shooting that requires that you get real fast at it, there are 3 different components. One of them is the physical act of drawing the gun, whether it's shooting from the hip or drawing a semi-auto up and doing drills from here. The other is your reaction time. With us, we shoot off a light. With the tactical community, they shoot off a beep timer. So those are the main 2 components. But it's how you combine them to make them one that makes the ultimate fast shooters fast. If you've got your draw and your reaction and you keep doing this with them, you're going to be good. And I've known guys that had a great draw, but not that good a reaction. So they're mid-range, high-end shooters. The shooters that shoot really well, their combination is better. So instead of going boom, boom, they're going boom one time. And that's where your absolute masters come. That's where you, at this point, we are shaving thousandths of a second off of our draw, not hundredths, not seconds. We're saving thousandths of a second. I talked to you about the mechanism of the guns. In the old days, we put ball bearings so the hammer would fall faster. It only goes from here to here, and we're trying to speed that up because we've maxed everything else out. This is why my perception of speed is different than the current fast draw community. Because y'all shoot a 30 hundredths of a second and you think that's incredibly, insanely fast. And it's not that fast based on what we used to do. Now, on the other side of that coin, we did have race guns. All the guns we shoot with now are stock. Those days, the guns were made, half of them were aluminum. I had a friend of mine who made a gun out of titanium, but it was so light I didn't like it. But the entire single action revolver was made out of titanium. That's quite the engineering and mechanical feat. And I wish I could have had value for it, but it was so light I didn't feel like I was drawing the gun at all. It was a very interesting deal.
Well, no, back in the day, it's a little different than what we do now. Back in the day, was it okay to modify your gun to an extent?
If you didn't, you weren't anybody.
Right.
The hammers had to be built up, so we did mostly fanning. So the hammer could be a half an inch from the top of the frame, no more. And it couldn't go in any direction either way more than half an inch. And everything was fanning. Very few people thumbed in those days, pardon me, because it was more difficult. Now that we're shooting from the lawman ready position, which means you can hold onto your gun as long as your finger's not in the trigger guard, that's where we begin. So that takes the fumble factor out of thumbing.
We've explained that before a few times. It's also keeps you, like you said, keeps you from dropping that gun or whatnot. That's
A lot of that too. We had, in the beginning of fast draw, we had a 6-inch hand rule. So if this was your gun, if you weren't 6 inches away, you were cheating and somebody would call you. So you had to go from there, negotiate the hammer, cock it, draw the gun, and fire it. And it became very difficult. So people started just grabbing the gun 6 inches away, grab and fan. That's a whole lot easier. When they got rid of 6 inches, as long as you weren't touching the gun, you were good. So we're right on top of that hammer, using the strongest finger in your hand and cocking that gun with that finger. Nobody drew the gun then. We pushed the gun out of the holster and caught it with his hand and fired it.
Really?
And it was all just cadets. Boom, that's it. That allowed us to go as fast as we were going.
You shot with a lot of legends back in the day. Who are some of the names that you shot with?
Well, I had the honor of shooting with Bob Munden, who was a great shooter. The last time that he shot, he and I shot together. And that was, I can't even tell you what year that was. My God, that was probably 74, somewhere around there. I've shot with Argon Bright and Ron Bright and Al Bryan, who nobody knows. Al Bryan was a great big Indian fella, and he was one of the top, what we call twisters in the sport. He did things that nobody else did for a long time. And then all of a sudden everybody was twisting, so it took things over. I mean, the club that we started with, our family, was called the Comancheros, and there were 30 guys in that club, and they all twisted. Everybody was fast. You could, fact of the matter is, you couldn't ask to join the club. One of the club members had to invite you.
Really?
So if you had a sponsor, then they voted on you later to see if you were good enough or not. They didn't want anybody who wasn't top
Really?
notch
So
shooter.
you had to be a certain level to
Yes,
even
sir.
be in the club.
That's the difference between now and then. Nowadays, we're just begging for members, please join. In those days, you ain't good enough. Go to this club over here, they'll take you.
Wow.
It was tough, which made me as strong as I am.
I got one last question for you. Where do you see the future of fast draw?
Well, there's different variations. There's multiple organizations, and the FDA, as far as I'm concerned, has the true nature of fast draw, because the term fast draw starts with fast. So as long as you're not inhibiting the shooter from reaching his pinnacle, his max shot, you're good. Other organizations sometimes will force you to shoot slower because you're shooting at a smaller target, or you're not allowed to shoot a specific way. It's just like saying, okay, we're going to have a race, but that car's too fast, so you can't shoot or run with all these other fast cars. So my hope is that they continue to expand and let them go, because a rule was made that doesn't allow people to shoot behind the holster, and it makes it very difficult to go fast.
Yeah, that's like a governor. You just
Yes,
put a governor to kind of slow
Which
you
is
down.
what the extreme fast draw, it doesn't have that governor. You guys want me to go as fast as I can go, and it allows me the freedom to train, because I've altered my style over the years 10 times, trying to make it faster.
Right.
Now, when you make the target too small, too far, too many misses involved, it makes it harder to hit, so your brain says slow down and hit the target. It's not called slow draw, it's called fast draw.
Good point. Good point. You know, Master Gunfighter, I could sit here and talk for another 17 hours, because it's very interesting, because I think there's a lot of stuff that a lot of the new shooters don't have, is the history that this gunfighter has right here, that I think will get lost if nobody talks about it. Thank you for sitting down with me and talking about this. I had a great time. Thank you so much.
I believe we'll talk again.
Looking forward to seeing you again and showing you, hopefully, how much better I've got.
I know you will.
All right.
In my mind, there's no doubt. There's no sugarcoating this. I know you absorb the concept. I know you understand what it is. You've got enough video footage that if you just watch that, you'll be fine.
Cool.
And between the two of you feeding off each other, I expect great things, and I won't settle for any less.
Fantastic. That's what we're going to do then. All right, everybody out there, Master Gunfighter right here. Thank you so much.
My great pleasure.